What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson, joined by John Breech for this YouTube exclusive video where we look at the Week 9 lines right when they come out, and we will tell you what winners to take now ahead of time. Breech, let's start with Thursday Night Football and a game that is a rematch of the NFC Championship game from last year, but might not feature starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who suffered an ankle injury, I believe, against the Seahawks in a loss on Sunday during Week 8. The Packers, -2.5 at the 49ers is the early line, according to our friends from William Hill. Your thoughts on this game?
First, Brinson, I would like to say I like your hat very much.
Thank you, John. A YouTube commenter complained that I'm always wearing my stupid white Nike golf hat. So I bought more Nike golf hats, rope hats, just for the YouTube commenter. Just for tough boy 69.
You're keeping the white Nike golf hat company in business. But as for this game, look, I was actually surprised at this point spread just because of the number of injuries the 49ers are dealing with. It's not just Jimmy Garoppolo. We saw George Kittle go out with a lower leg injury. If he's not on the field Thursday, their offense struggles to move the ball when he's out. So that's absolutely something I'm going to be watching for. The Garoppolo injury doesn't concern me that much because they looked better with Nick Mullins running the offense against Seattle. Does that mean Mullins is better than Garoppolo over the course of the season? Probably not. But for one game, I'd rather have a fully healthy Nick Mullins than a banged up Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's going to be banged up if he plays Thursday. So just because of all the injuries, I am absolutely leaning Packers here. But I will say, in the history of Thursday Night Football, no team has ever won a game when they've had to fly 2 time zones or more west for a Thursday game. 0-11 all time.
That's a great stat. I'll take the 49ers here. Now, I know they looked awful against the Seahawks, but to your point, once Jimmy Garoppolo left and Nick Mullins came in, they sort of winged it around. Like Kyle Shanahan just had a bad game plan. They tried to run the ball, and you don't run against Seattle. You pass against Seattle. If they just when Nick Mullins had to pass, there were guys running wide open. They scored points very quickly. And I think you can run against Green Bay. We've also seen them win games when they are not at 100%. So I will take the 49ers here as dogs. Certainly want to watch the injury of Jimmy Garoppolo. I would also lean to the over here at 51. I think we see more than 51 points scored, and I would bet that closes a little bit higher. All right, next game, Seahawks -3 at the Bills. The Bills took a stranglehold on the AFC East with a victory over the Patriots and Cam Newton on Sunday in Week 8. The Seahawks continue to roll in close games, needing to close out the 49ers late after building a big lead against them. The Seahawks are favored by 3 in Buffalo. John, what do you think?
Man, I feel like a broken record because I think I say this every week. I just haven't been that impressed with the Bills. Like, they keep winning. They're 6-2. They are a good football team. They beat a not so good Patriots team. They didn't cover the 3.5 points against New England in that 24-21 win, even though that was a big win and gives them, a great shot of winning the AFC East. But I have to say, just because I'm not that sold on their defense, when your defense isn't playing that well, the last guy you want to see is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is going to go in there. He's going to throw 4 or 5 touchdown passes. He's going to move the Seahawks up and down the field. And even though Seattle's defense is bad, and I do think Josh Allen, the Bills, will be able to score some points, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up in a shootout. And I like the Seahawks here.
I would probably lean towards the Seahawks here as well. This should be a really close game. The only thing I would think about taking Buffalo would be you kind of want the points. Like, Seattle's not going to blow anybody out, and neither is Buffalo because neither team's defense is very good, which leads me to the thing I like here, the over 51. What's happening? I did the look at it. Now, this is 7 days in advance, so you can't be guaranteed you're going to get this weather, but it's showing 68 degrees and sunny with no wind in Buffalo next Sunday. It doesn't appear, based on a preliminary search, that there's going to be bad weather after Friday. Like, the wind will go away. And if that's the case, this game is going way over the total, and it should be something like 55 or 56. Neither of these teams plays defense. Both like to take shots down the field. Josh Allen will feed Stephon Diggs. He's going to have a monster game. And DK Metcalf will go off too. Either that or Tyler Lockett will. One of those dudes will. One of them has a monster game every week. Give me the over in this spot. I'm going to bet it as soon as we get done recording this video. The Ravens lost a tough one to the Steelers. lost Ronnie Stanley for the year, and they are 3-point favorites at the Colts as a result. Your thoughts on this game, Breech?
You know what, Brinson? I actually thought the Colts had one of the most impressive wins of week 8, 41-21 over the Lions. But, it's against the Lions, so it was only shown to like 2% of the country. So literally no one saw this game unless you lived in Indy or Detroit. But what they did is they were coming off that bye. They got Darius Leonard back. Their defense is healthy, and it really showed. I think they had a pick 6 of Matthew Stafford. They forced a fumble in the second half. And all of that was huge because guess what? Lamar Jackson hasn't looked that great this season. He's looked even worse when he plays a good defense, like we saw against the Steelers on Sunday. The Ravens, they can move the ball, but they just haven't looked as good as they did last year. I think the Colts defense might actually be better than the Steelers defense. And this may or may not surprise you, but I'm going with your boy, Phillip Rivers. I like the Colts here. If they're getting 3 points, I am going to happily take them.
Yeah, I'm going to take the home dog here as well. I like Baltimore a lot, but I don't think they should be favored against another very good AFC team. The Colts are 5-2. The Chiefs are great. The Ravens look like they can do a lot of damage. The Steelers are undefeated, but the Colts deserve to be in a mention with the rest of the elite AFC teams. They played really well. Phillip Rivers is playing some awesome football. He is. Take notice. Don't people are like, he's washed up. No, he's not. He's playing really good football right now, and he's helping to carry the Colts, and they're opening up the offense a little bit and using all of their weapons. Now, I don't think this will be a shootout, and I would probably take the under at 45, although Lord knows that is a low number. But these are two pretty good defenses and two teams that will lean on the run. So I would lean towards the under here, and I would join you in taking the points with the Colts at first blush. The Bears almost found a way to win and ruin my entire weekend. Instead, they just blew the over by forcing the Saints to overtime on Sunday. They head to the Titans, who lost to, what the hell? The Titans lost to the Bengals? The Titans doesn't matter. The Titans are still 6.5-point favorites against Chicago in this game, Breech.
Yeah, the Titans, the interesting thing about them that really isn't that interesting to Titans fans because it's actually bad is they don't have any pass rush. And because they have no pass rush, quarterbacks just sit back there and pick them apart. I mean, we saw Jacksonville put up more than 30 points against Tennessee. We saw Minnesota do it. And then we saw Joe Burrow do it on Sunday when the Bengals pulled off that upset. And usually that is not a good thing when you have zero pass rush. But if there is one team in the NFL that will not be able to take advantage of that, it is the Chicago Bears. We were talking about the bipolar Bears where the fans are on Twitter in week 1 saying they want Trubisky bench. Now they're saying they want Nick Foles bench. They might as well just not have a quarterback because it really doesn't matter. They can't score points right now. Their offense can't move the football. I think the Titans bounce back. And this is a big point spread for the Titans, especially with the way they struggled against the Bengals. But I like Tennessee right now to cover the 6.5.
So just of note, this is how big the spread was. It's already been bet down to 5.5 at William Hill. So it's clearly on the move. What's that? It was already 5. It was
no, then I'll definitely take it.
Yeah. Of course you'll still stick with the Titans. I think that I would probably lean towards the Bears here. They should have lost to New Orleans by a lot more, and their offense is terrible. But I think that this is kind of a bad matchup for Tennessee because Tennessee wants to run the ball. Ryan Tannehill hadn't been as efficient. He's turning the ball over a little bit more. And they just haven't been as effective offensively, Tennessee, that is. So I could see them struggling a little bit against the Bears, and I could see Chicago keeping it closer than people expected. The over-under here, 46.5. I think I would probably take the over because Tennessee lets anybody score with them and will get their points. But I don't know. I would lean Bears here and maybe hold off on the total for now. Sunday Night Football, a rematch of a week 1 game between Tom Brady and Drew Brees, the Saints and the Bucs battling it out for NFC South supremacy. Tampa at home favored by 4.5 points in this one.
Yeah, the NFL owed us this game after sitting us through Cowboys, Eagles, and week 8. This is a good makeup game here. You know what the thing is? We saw the Saints beat the Buccaneers in week 1, but Tom Brady was still trying to get comfortable in that Tampa offense. And obviously, the Buccaneers are much, much better. As for the Saints, I have no idea what's going on. They're just barely eking out wins. They beat the Chargers in overtime. They beat the Panthers by 3. They beat the Bears by 3. And none of those teams are great teams. And New Orleans is just barely beating them. I think Tampa might be the first or second best team in the NFC, either them or Seattle. And I don't think the Saints can hang with them. Obviously, week 1 was different, but now that Tom Brady's comfortable in that offense, their defense has gotten much better over the past few weeks. I don't think the Saints are going to be able to score, especially if Michael Thomas doesn't play. We don't know his status for the game. But right right now I like the Bucs to cover the 4.5.
Yeah, I think I would take the Bucs too. I'm not sure the Saints are particularly good at football at this moment. I mean, they win and got a win in Chicago. That's all that matters. And Tampa didn't do that, right? Tampa lost in Chicago on a Thursday night. So credit to the Saints where credit's due. And they're keeping the NFC South interesting. And they do have a win over Tampa. If they sweep this one, then maybe they should be the favorites to win the NFC South. We'll see. I would probably lean the Bucs as well on this one. The total is interesting. It's 54.5. That's really high. These teams secretly don't score that aggressively. And now I know Tampa's opened it up and I could see them getting to 30 easily. And the Saints will just get garbage yards with Drew Brees dumping it off to Alvin Kamara if they're trailing in it. So I'm a little hesitant to get in the way of this under, but I think that total will probably end up coming down a little bit over the week. So if you like the under, I would get it in now. Monday Night Football, the New England Patriots, third place team in the AFC East. It's shocking, Breech, but they're still better than the New York Football Jets, and they're 7.5-point favorites in New York in prime time. I cannot believe this game is going to be on national television. The last time these two teams played on Monday night, Sam Darnold saw ghosts, and now we might not see any points. The total here, 41.
Yeah, and you know what? If the NFL had a sense of humor, they would have this game played on Halloween because of the whole ghost thing, but they do not have a sense of humor because they're the NFL. You know what, Brinson? You said their Patriots are a 7.5-point favorite. With the way they're playing offense right now, I'm not sure they can score 7.5 points. But you know what? There is no way I am picking the Jets under any circumstance. This is one where I probably take the under because I don't even know what the total is. You'll give it to us in a second. If it's
41.
41. Yeah, I'd probably lean the under there because I don't think the Jets are going to be able to move the ball on the Patriots defense. So it'll just be a matter of, can Cam Newton, that offense, muster 14, 17, maybe 20 points? And I think that would be enough to get this cover. So I would lean Patriots and the under on this one.
Yeah, the Jets have scored in the past 4 weeks, 10, 0, 10, and 9 points. That's not good. That's not even 41 points, actually, from the past 4 weeks. So I guess you would take the under. That is a really, 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 really low total for an NFL game in 2020. If you read my picks column each week, you know I have a very hard and fast rule. I will not bet on the Jets if Adam Gase is coaching, and it has served me very well. They have not covered one game against a spread this year. The sharps out there you got to take the points. The Patriots won't be very good. 7.5, they can't cover it. They don't have to cover 19.5 or 20. No, they don't have to. They're the worst team in football. And it's not even really close, although maybe Dallas could be involved as well. The Jets are terrible. They can't cover anything. Do not bet on the Jets. Take the Patriots if you want to take them because it ain't going to come down below 7. I can promise you that. If you like the Patriots, you should take them now. If you like the total, if you like the under, you can probably wait. I can't imagine it drops that much lower. If you think this could go over, though, now would be the time to get it because it's at 41. Okay, that'll do it for us on the early week 9 look-ahead lines for John Breech. I'm Will Brinson. Make sure and check out the podcast. We have a new recap in the feed, daily NFL show, and check us out on CBS Sports HQ, breaking down video coverage of the NFL every day.